FSU fans got the best news possible last week when Jordan Travis decided to run it back for one more season. This year, he earned a spot on the second-team All-ACC team, but will he take another step forward next season? Can he play his way into an invite to New York City? Let's start this conversation by evaluating the player he was in 2022. Before the season started, this is what I had to say about Jordan Travis.
I think he's a top 15 quarterback, and he's really a top 10 quarterback for the roster you have.
Your Honor, clearly he's been drinking.
And frankly, I think I was right on this one. So let's take a look at what he does well as a player. JT is one of the more dynamic quarterbacks in the country. And when he's not using his legs to break off chunk runs, he uses them to get out of trouble in the pocket. He's also developed as a passer. He has shown the ability to make tight throws into traffic underneath and also identify one-on-one mismatches and throw dimes over the top. But what's truly special about Travis is how he makes everyone around him better. I mentioned his ability to evade pass rushers, but statistically it's pretty significant. FSU was the 94th worst team in pressure rate, but only the 40th in sack rate, meaning he was able to single-handedly elevate FSU 50 spots in terms of pass protection. His legs make life easier on the running backs as well. His ability as a runner means the offense can leave an entire defender unblocked, and if he crashes hard towards the running back, then Travis can punish them to the outside. Teams will circumvent this by what's called a gap exchange, where the crashing defensive end is replaced by a linebacker or safety, but very few players can consistently tackle him one-on-one in space. This literally means that teams take a guy out of the box on runs and still can't stop them. His impact extends before the play as well. He was asked to make calls at the line of scrimmage this season, which often just meant setting the direction of the run based off of defensive alignment, but also extended to things like setting pass protections, like I outlined in a YouTube short earlier this week. Before the play starts, Travis recognizes the Sam backer blitz that LSU has brought before on third downs, and he adjusts the offensive line's pass protection to cover it. Specifically, he gets him in a half slide protection, where the left half of the line stays in man-to-man, but the right side all slides to pick up the extra blitzer. He also recognizes that this blitz gives him man-to-man coverage on the outside, and despite his right guard completely whiffing on the block, he stands in and delivers a perfect fade to Pokey Wilson. So if these are his strengths, what's holding him back from being viewed as the best quarterback in the country? I had the opportunity to ask Mike Norvell this question, and this is what he said.
I think he's one of the best players in college football, and it's going to be, the continued progress, the continued confidence, taking his game to the next level with every detail. There's not just one specific area that this is what you need to improve. It's why he's got to the point that he's gotten to is because he takes that all-inclusive approach. The ownership of every action, just the leader that he is, and what he brings to this program is what makes him special. So we're going to focus on all areas and continue to grow.
Okay, there's some coach speak to decipher through here, but there's a lot of truth in here. There's no one thing that's going to immediately elevate his game. He's just got to refine the edges on some little things. Let's start this conversation by looking at his passing chart. You can see here there's some concerns in the deep outside range, but that's probably as much of a physical limitation than anything else. I think the little things refer more to playing a cleaner game in his decision making. There are a few times where he didn't pull the ball and read options when he should have, and this happened a couple of times in the NC State and Louisville games, he didn't correctly diagnose the disguised pressure, which led to plays for loss. These things are correctable, and honestly, they're decent mistakes to make, since it means he's verging on the safe side, but another year at the helm, he should be making a few more calculated risks with these decisions. So how did these things shape up for a potential Heisman run in 2023? Let's start by looking at this chart that I used as specific evidence for my claims last offseason. This shows passing efficiency of Mike Norvell quarterbacks since he's been the head coach, and there's a clear trend. So far, every quarterback has improved each subsequent season under Mike Norvell. This predicts a continued upward trend for Travis. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to touch on something. Travis did improve a lot this season, but I think that narrative is a bit overblown. He was a top 25 quarterback last season in my opinion, and a top 15, probably top 10 quarterback this season. If you look at his picks in 2021, they mostly weren't his fault, and to be honest, he had little help from his offensive line or wide receiver core. That changed as the O-line improved and he got Johnny Wilson who could match up against almost any corner in the country, and Mycah Pittman, who could reliably make sure-handed catches on 3rd and 4th downs out of the transfer portal. What I just said might sound like a negative, but I actually think it bodes well for his 2023 campaign. As one, we know this isn't just a flash in the pan as a player, it's his next logical progression. And two, they actually add more weapons on the outside, with Jaheim Bell and potentially Hakeem Williams coming in to help out Johnny Wilson and Mycah Pittman. And fortunately for Travis, most Heisman voters don't care about context. They don't care if you have a stable of NFL players to toss the ball to that inflate your stats. Using context is really only convenient for them to keep out players from small market teams, and FSU doesn't quite fall into that category. But there's one big concern with his Heisman chances next year. Let's take a look at these stats. On each one of these lines is a dot that represents a Power 5 starting quarterback. Travis is highlighted in blue. You can see in most of the advanced metrics like passing efficiency, yards per attempt, yards per rush, and so on, they paint him as a top 15 quarterback almost unanimously, which means he's probably better than that as a whole. But these stats that I grouped to the bottom that I'll call counting stats aren't so generous. These are the raw stats, the touchdowns and yards. And since Florida State is a run-first offense, these stats won't jump off the page for him. That means he's going to have to go above and beyond to wow the voters. But when he can make plays like this, you would be foolish to not think that he has a chance. Thanks for watching. I genuinely think Jordan Travis is one of the best quarterbacks in the game, and I'm super excited for his 2023 campaign. Make sure to like and subscribe to get more videos like this, and head on over to Knowles247 for the best FSU news and information. Thanks.